The Great Lakes. I know nothing about the Great Lakes. I would love to see them though. To be honest, when it comes to traveling in the States, I have done so little of it. I've been to, I think it's like 3 states. There's just so much more that I need to see. And the Great Lakes, I need to understand why they're called the Great Lakes. Are they really that big?
What if I told you that buried beneath Lake Superior lies a forest older than the pyramids? Or that one of the Great Lakes has waves that can reach 30 feet high, rivaling some ocean storms? The Great Lakes aren't just big puddles in the middle of North America. They're geological monsters hiding secrets that will completely change how you see these inland seas. I'm about to reveal 16 mind-blowing facts about the Great Lakes that most people, even those living on their shores, have never heard. Stick around because fact number 12 involves a lake that's literally trying to kill you, and the final fact will make you question everything you thought you knew about freshwater. Let's start with something that sounds simple but will mess with your head. The Great Lakes contain 21% of the world's surface freshwater, but here's what that actually means.
21%?
Fact 1. Lake Superior alone contains enough water to flood all of North and South America under a foot of water. Think about that.
What?
One lake, both continents, underwater. We're talking about 2,900 cubic miles of water. That's roughly 3 quadrillion gallons. To put this in perspective, if you drained Lake Superior and wanted to fill it back up using garden hoses, it would take 4.5 billion years running nonstop.
Wow.
Fact 2.
How deep is Lake Superior then? Because I mean, in terms of the width and the length, if it's within continental USA, it's going to be big, but it's not going to be enormous. But for it to have that much water, it needs to be super deep. Like, how deep does it go?
The Great Lakes were one country, they'd have the 4th longest coastline in the world. The combined shoreline of all 5 lakes stretches over 10,000 miles. That's longer than the coastlines of Brazil, Australia, or Norway. Michigan alone has more coastline than the entire east coast of the United States. Suddenly, those Michigan beaches don't sound so weird, do they? But here's where it gets really crazy.
Holy
Fact 3. Lake Michigan and Lake Huron are technically the same lake. Wait, what? Yeah.
Okay, this is what I need to see. So these are the Great Lakes from like an aerial view. I mean, they look big, but I wish that we had what states like surround them, just so I could get a real scale, because I'm sure this must be like a whole state or something like that, right?
Yeah, hydrologically speaking, they're one body of water connected by the Straits of Mackinac. They're at the same elevation and water flows freely between them. We only call them separate lakes because of human geography. It's like calling your kitchen and living room separate rooms when there's no wall between them. Now let's dive into the really weird stuff lurking beneath the surface. Fact 4. There's a 9,000-year-old forest at the bottom of Lake Huron. In 2009, researchers discovered perfectly preserved tree stumps, some still upright, in 40 feet of water. These aren't fallen trees. This is an ancient forest that was submerged when water levels rose after the last ice age. The cold, fresh water has preserved them so well that you can still see the axe marks from prehistoric humans who cut them down.
No way.
Fact
That's
5.
crazy.
Lake Superior never gives up her dead. This isn't just a Gordon Lightfoot lyric, it's terrifyingly true. The lake's average temperature is 40 degrees Fahrenheit, even in summer. Bodies don't decompose and create gases that would make them float to the surface. They just stay down there.
Oh my God.
The lake has claimed over 6,000 ships and 30,000 lives, and most of them—
6,000 ships? That's crazy. So there's the remnants of all those ships down there. Like, there must be so much like buried treasure and things of value down in that at the bottom of that lake. Wow.
Are still perfectly preserved on the bottom, like an underwater museum of tragedy.
Wow.
Speaking of shipwrecks, fact 6. The Great Lakes have more shipwrecks per square mile than anywhere else on Earth. We're talking about over 25,000 documented wrecks. That's not counting the thousands more that haven't been found yet. Lake Erie alone has over 8,000 wrecks. It's basically an underwater graveyard.
Wow.
The combination of sudden storms, rocky shoals, and busy shipping routes turn these lakes into ship-eating monsters.
Are you allowed to like scuba dive down there? Is it even possible to like get all the way down to like, where these ships are? Or is it just too deep? It's probably way too deep, isn't it? For like just a normal scuba diver, you probably need like a submarine or something, right?
Fact 7. There are stone circles on the bottom of Lake Michigan that might be 10,000 years old. In 2007, archaeologists using sonar discovered a series of stones arranged in circles beneath 40 feet of water.
Wow.
One of the stones appears to have a carving of a mastodon, an animal that went extinct 10,000 years ago. If confirmed, this would be one of the most significant archaeological finds in North America.
Wow.
But here's the kicker. They can't figure out how to properly excavate underwater without destroying everything.
Oh no.
Don't let the word lake fool you. These bodies of water can be absolutely savage. Fact 8. Lake Superior generates waves that can exceed 30 feet. The Edmund Fitzgerald wasn't sunk by cute little lake waves.
So the Edmund Fitzgerald is in Lake Superior. I see. Wow. Dude, when I reacted to that song, the lyrics blew me away. When I realized what was happening, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
When storms hit, these lakes turn into inland oceans. The longest recorded wave on Lake Superior was 29 feet high and 300 feet between crests. Imagine a 3-story building of water moving at 40 miles per hour. That's what ships face during storms. Fact 9. The Great Lakes have rogue waves. Just like the ocean, the Great Lakes can generate freak waves that appear out of nowhere and dwarf everything around them. In 2010, a 20-foot rogue wave slammed into a break wall in Marquette, Michigan, launching spectators into the air and sending them to the hospital. These waves form when multiple wave systems collide and amplify each other. Fact 10. Lake Erie is the most dangerous lake in the world for small boats. It's shallow, which means waves get steep and choppy quickly. It's oriented east-west, so it catches the prevailing winds perfectly. And it's surrounded by major cities, so it's crowded with inexperienced boaters.
Oh, no.
The Coast Guard performs more rescues on Lake Erie than any other Great Lake, and it has the highest fatality rate per square mile of any major lake on Earth.
Dude, if I knew that the lake that I'm planning to take my little boat out on is the most fatal, the most dangerous lake, I mean, I'd probably think twice about going out there unless the distance outward that I'm going is like really, really safe. But it sounds like the conditions can change so quickly. So it's like, is it worth it? Like any of you guys that have been boating out on, this lake or another one of the Great Lakes, like, is it as sketchy and dangerous as it's made to seem, or is it like a lot more manageable?
The Great Lakes are under siege, and the attackers are winning. Fact 11. There are over 180 invasive species in the Great Lakes. Zebra mussels get all the attention, but they're just one army in a full-scale biological invasion. Sea lampreys attach to fish and literally suck them dry.
What?
Asian carp are jumping into boats and breaking people's bones. Round gobbies are eating all the native fish eggs.
Dude, those look like piranhas. Are there piranhas in there as well?
It's like an underwater zombie apocalypse. Fact 12. Lake Erie literally died and came back to life. In the 1960s, Lake Erie was declared dead. It had so little oxygen that fish couldn't survive.
Oh, I see.
The Cuyahoga River, which flows into Lake Erie, was so polluted it caught fire multiple times.
Wow.
The lake was covered in green slime and dead fish.
Ugh.
But here's the incredible part. Through massive cleanup efforts, Lake Erie recovered. It's now one of the best fishing lakes in the world. Sometimes dead things can be resurrected. Fact 13.
That's amazing that humans were able to do that, to bring it back to life in that way. Because, it shows that, like, despite what we're doing, to the planet, things can be improved, like in terms of like all the climate change and all the stuff they talk about.
The Great Lakes are shrinking and growing at the same time. Climate change is causing wild water level fluctuations. In 2013, Lakes Huron and Michigan hit record lows. Property owners were celebrating because they had more beach. Then, just 6 years later, they hit near record highs, flooding those same properties.
Wow.
We're talking about changes of 6 feet or more. Imagine your entire beach disappearing overnight, or your house suddenly being lakefront property. Humans have done some absolutely bonkers things to these lakes. Fact 14. We reversed the flow of the Chicago River to save Lake Michigan.
How?
Chicago was dumping so much sewage into Lake Michigan that they were poisoning their own drinking water. So in 1900, they performed one of the greatest engineering feats in history. They reversed the entire Chicago River to flow backward into the Mississippi River system instead. They literally changed the direction of a river.
How though? How do you do that? You need like some kind of massive engine or something, right?
The side effect? They accidentally connected two major watersheds and created a highway for invasive species.
Oh no.
Fact 15. There's a massive garbage patch in Lake Erie that rivals the Pacific Oceans. The Western Lake Erie garbage patch is made up of millions of tons of plastic debris. Unlike the ocean version, this one is mostly invisible. The plastic has broken down into microplastics that float throughout the water column.
And that's not good because the fish eat the microplastics and we eat the fish.
Fish are eating it, birds are eating the fish, and it's working its way up the food chain to...
God, did you see all of that plastic? Hold on a minute. Look at this. Look at this. Is this real? Where is this?
And it's working its way up the food chain to us. Every glass of Lake Erie water contains microscopic pieces of plastic.
Oh my God.
Fact 16. The Great Lakes are connected to the ocean by the St. Lawrence Seaway, and ocean ships regularly visit Duluth, Minnesota. This blew my mind when I first learned it. You can literally sail from the Atlantic Ocean to the middle of the North American continent. Duluth, Minnesota, which is over 2,000 miles from the ocean, is technically a seaport. Ocean-going vessels regularly dock there to pick up grain and iron ore. The Seaway includes a series of locks that lift ships 600 feet above sea level. It's like a water elevator system for massive cargo ships. But here's the fact that will completely change how you think about the Great Lakes.
But going back to the microplastics, is there a way that we can get rid of all the microplastics in the water, or are they there forever?
The ultimate fact, the Great Lakes are not lakes at all. They're inland seas that just happen to contain fresh water. Scientifically speaking, the Great Lakes meet every definition of seas except salinity. They're large enough to have their own weather systems. They have tides, small ones but real tides caused by the moon's gravitational pull. They have dangerous currents, rogue waves, and underwater topography as complex.
Wow, Lake Superior is just huge. Hang on a minute. So, wow, it takes 4 Lake Eries to equal 1 Lake Superior. Hang on, all of them. Wow. So Lake Superior is as big as all of the other ones combined.
Complex as any ocean. The indigenous peoples who lived here for thousands of years called them Gichigami, which means great water or great sea. The only reason we call them lakes is European colonial bias. Europeans saw large bodies of water and assumed they must be lakes because they weren't salty. But these aren't oversized ponds, they're legitimate inland seas. Think about this. Lake Superior is deeper than the height of the Empire State Building. It's larger than South Carolina. It has underwater mountains and canyons that have never been fully explored. It generates its own weather patterns that can be seen from space.
Lake Superior is deeper than the height of the Empire State Building. So that answers my question. Jesus. So like 1,000 feet.
Here's what really makes your brain hurt. These lakes contain more fresh water than all the rivers in the world combined. They're so large that they create their own microclimate for the entire region. Without them, Chicago would have the climate of Omaha, and Toronto would feel like Winnipeg.
Wow. Crazy. So this is them from
The Great Lakes aren't just bodies of water. They're freshwater oceans hiding in plain sight, full of mysteries we're still uncovering.
Wow. Dude, that was awesome. I cannot believe how big Lake Superior is. You know, because from the aerial shot, it looks so big. Like, because, you know, they showed it next to continental USA, and it still looked like a big body of water. So I thought maybe it can't be that deep. But then to hear that it's as deep as the Empire State Building is tall, that is so much water. And then it makes sense when he said that if you took all of the water from Lake Superior, you could flood continental America, like the whole of it, which is just crazy. I want to see it for myself. I really want to get out there and see it. Like, even though, you know, he said that, you know, there's more shipwrecks in Lake Superior, or I think it was Lake Erie, than anywhere else on Earth, you know, just not too far out, just to have a little bit of fun. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, I'm going to link a very similar one right below here, and I'll see you there.